Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we're going to be talking about, once again, the PlayStation 6, which is still crazy to me because it's such a far out console at this point. Now, we actually made a video on the channel a few days ago. As you guys know, we are still on the tail end of a break. We have a lot of cool things coming, editing, channel, new layouts, a lot of cool stuff, testing out new content. So just bear with me a little bit. We'll be getting back in the swing of things, and I'll give you guys all the updates. You guys will see. It'll be better. But the last video we made a few days ago was kind of discussing the bigger early leaks of the PlayStation 6. So if you guys missed, you guys can check it out. But there's gonna be some decent updates, a lot of AI focus, and basically software optimization, stuff like that. So it's the bigger deals as of right now. But because of that, people are thinking, at least based on these early leaks and rumors, that it's just not that good. It's not that impressive. Why do I want to spend money on this? I'm not going to buy the PlayStation 6. Well, we have this monopoly that's now, because of Xbox basically kind of phasing stuff on out. And that means that PlayStation can kind of take more of a more strategic, I guess, approach on how they want to update their costs, etc. So people aren't happy. So we're going to talk about why people think that way, what I think, and of course, want to hear your thoughts and comments down below. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, with the Twitter and Twitch room down below, and of course, we're just chilling. So thank you guys all for still being patient with the break. Sooner than later, I think within the next 2 weeks or so, we should be all rolling. But right now, we have this article over here from Screen Rant saying we're worrying the PlayStation 6 news, PlayStation 6 news, has a lot of people upset. And I've also even saw this a little bit on my YouTube account, more so on the Twitter and kind of the Twitch end of it, where people are just we don't care. More on the hey, it's coming out in a few years, let's hope it gets better. But on these very first impressions, people weren't really that impressed with it. People are kind of curious on what can make it better. We already had the PS5 Pro not that long ago, so what's the deets? And PlayStation fans seem to be quite worried about the future of the console, as a new PlayStation 6 prediction is estimating the console will not be nearly as powerful as many may have previously thought. Discussions about the PS6 have heated up this summer, as Sony previously stated the PS6 will be focused more on the local execution and then less on cloud services or other online systems. This new forecast, though, is rubbing fans the wrong way, which kind of makes sense a little bit. Basically, if you're focusing more on, say, AI, software, that's kind of where the world's going. We're seeing a lot of AI focus in video games, on creatives, on even healthcare. Things even military defense, all this type of stuff. I've even seen AIs that are now trading stocks. I've seen AIs that are now doing retirement. I don't know if it's going to be a good thing or not. I'm very skeptical of AI, and I'm very skeptical of the future, because, we don't want to have the world be destroyed. Or whatever it might be. It is what it is. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, so a lot of that focus is going to be more on AI, machine learning, utilizing the software, ray tracing, and the NVIDIA type stuff. AMD, more so on the AMD end, but how they're trying to push a lot with these GPUs and how they can be made and all that. So originally stated by Digital Foundry's Alexander Battaglia, a podcast episode which was upclipped and uploaded DF clips, Battaglia was asked how much RAM the PS6 could potentially have. He responded with, I think they're going to have a minimum of 24 gigs of RAM and maybe a maximum of around 24. However, this is not the confirmation. Obviously, this is more of the vibe. Right now, my current PC, which is somewhat dated, a 2 or 3 year old PC at this point, already has, I believe, 32 gigs of RAM. My PC is already going to be better at this point. If we want to be running all these actual, on theory, the operating system's mostly chill, and they do want to probably have their own separate memory stick, how they do with the PS5 Pro, but still, that's not that high. And of course, you want to have all this optimization and all this stuff, you need to have slightly better specs. RAM and video RAM, and most importantly, although video RAM is slightly different than normal memory and RAM, but it's important. You want these updates, you want the better specs, you want things to be doing better. And this is not, however, the confirmations they mentioned too, but it's kind of a baseline. So a lot of people are saying, is it only going to be a very small amount of marginal power increase? Now, in the video we made a few days ago discussing it on the early leaks of the PS6, a lot of it was hey, 20% maybe power increase, which really isn't that much. Comparison to the PS5 Pro, which is a pretty beefy console, especially with PSSR and AI integrations, I expect a lot. Now, these are not final confirmations. These are leaks. But leaks have actually been relatively pretty on point, although we're pretty far out, so take everything with a grain of salt. But I want a beefy console. If I'm going to have a PS5 to PS6 improvement, and I even have to spend another, $600, $800, we're not sure the price point, I want it to be worth my money. I want to sit there and be yeah, this was worth my time. This was worth my effort. I wanted this to happen. I wanted to spend the money on it. But if it's a small increase, not many people are going to like it. I think it also means a lot of people are upset too, because like we're losing Xbox as a big competitor. Switch 2 is very weak. We're not going to have a new Switch 3 for a while. So it's like, hey, they can kind of get away with like not being as extreme. And I want that competition. I want my PS6 to be better. I want to make sure it's good. So the base PS5 has 16 gigabytes of RAM. PS5 Pro has 18, and the base PS4 had 8. So it seems like the predictions based on the PlayStation's recent previous increases of 8 gigabytes for each new console generation. Memory is relatively cheap too as well. So if the PS6 has just 24 gigs of RAM, which would be horrible, it'll only be a marginal increase in memory processing power. It's all speculation though, because we haven't had official confirmations. And as I mentioned, we've seen a lot of big focus on AI. Now, I think the PS6 will be a lot better than people are expecting. We want to have a way better GPU. They are working, Sony is working with AMD to make better internals. I want a way better CPU because the PS5 Pro has the same, pretty much, CPU as the current PS5. Just overclockable. So it's like a little bit better, do the better in like power flow, APUs, GPUs can take a little bit more of a load, sure. But I want a way better GPU. Like I want to be seeing 8K easy. I want to be seeing 8K 60 easy. I want my graphics to be running well. I want ray tracing to be looking nice. I want everything to be going phenomenally. And I want it to be better. Like I want this to be an improvement. I don't want them to be lazy when it comes to Xbox stepping away. Fans seem to be upset about the potential lack of memory processing upgrades. And I read a thread by RP Daka, the response all over the place, saying Memory Madness is dismissive of the whole prediction, writing no one knows anything about the next-gen consoles. We usually are kind of seeing some stuff early on. We've seen some, like I said, leaks, a lot of AI focus. So there's a little bit of reality. It's also fun to discuss, but I do want to also agree with that. So they're also expecting at least 32 gigabytes. I would be expecting at least 32 gigabytes. And mention how we already saw 24 gigabytes on the market with the upcoming Xbox ROG Ally. So if they could already go and have 24 gigs on a handheld from Xbox, so handhelds versus software, like physical, like software. You want to say software, like physical consoles, hardware. Sorry. So we've said software so much with AI and everything else. But when we see this, I want it to be better than a mobile device. Like mobile in my mind is always meant to be slightly weaker, which is fine because it's mobile. I'm okay with that. Look at the Switch. So if it's not even comparable to other handhelds on the market upcoming, I'm going to be disappointed. I want at least 32 gigabytes because that's what I have on my PC, and my PC is starting to get dated at this point. Not really, but kind of. So people are kind of getting a little sketchy on Sony. They don't want them to be too lazy. So a big point of discussion for fans is the price tag that could come along with a more powerful console, especially the Nintendo Switch 2 cost, which was more than most people have expected. So if they want to go cheap, the internal hardware may not be as good, which I get, but I don't like that because it kind of seems like Xbox stepping away is kind of giving PlayStation some freedom. I don't want that. I want them to feel like that crunch. I want Xbox to be on top of them, hovering, being like, if you mess up, we're going to take over the market share. And this is going to be maybe a big deal when it comes to next-gen stuff. Because if Xbox is making handhelds and PlayStation might do a handheld for fun, but they're mainly focused on the console, they can get away with a way cheaper, way less powerful, less improved PlayStation 6. I don't like that. So this is kind of what I'm saying. Me Critic brought up the concern, saying the main problem for not much improvement is people's reaction to price. The console uses too much at many advanced hardware prices. It may cost too much to produce and lead to a sizable increase in cost for consumers. I also think that's a big deal, but prices for tech usually go down over time. Memory has gone down a lot. GPUs have still gone down a lot, especially if they're not like higher end stuff. And of course, CPUs are relatively too as well going down. Plus, you're also PlayStation, AMD. Like you can make some big magical stuff happen, even if you focus more on software. I'm okay if you focus on AI, if AI actually has good improvements, but not many people have seen major improvements from PSSR. It's cool technology. It will get better. It will be better for the PlayStation 6, and AMD is working with them to make their own special console, like software for it. But a lot of people are also curious, like, hey, is this PlayStation 6 gonna be too expensive? Is it going to be like $1,000 for barely any improvements? Like, I want to see more than a 20% improvement on just only small subsections of it. The PS5 Pro could have done similar to as well. So I don't know. I'm kind of up in the air because it is far away. So we don't have to worry about it superly hardcore. We are seeing a lot more internal leaks and information and rumors on it. And it's making me concerned that it may not be as good. And people are critiquing it too as well. We want to make sure it's not just a mediocre console that's just only going to get a lot of sales because there's nothing else for us to buy. So give me your thoughts and comments on everything down below. Subscribe if you guys are new. Thank you guys so much for your patience and as we're waiting for me to get back in the groove. And I love you guys very, very much.